Teofimo Lopez warns Steve Claggett his upcoming foe. He's about to fight him in Miami. Teofimo Lopez was seen jogging, putting in work for his upcoming fight against Steve Claggett. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Who is Steve Claggett? Steve Claggett is not a huge, big name in the sport of boxing. Many people are not familiar with his brand, but Saturday, June 29th, at the James L. Knight Center, Miami, Florida, that is what Top Rank has selected and Teofimo's team have selected, featuring Robeisy Ramirez on the card. Now, this video was put out of Teofimo Lopez, and he was, kind of giving daily affirmations, giving himself self-talk, hyping himself up, and he was putting in work. Roll the clip.
I am everything. I am life. I am creation. I am everything. I am the sword of truth. Don't you forget it. I work hard. 3 in the morning. Up grinding. We don't sleep. The sleep is for the weak. I'm not weak. I'm stronger than ever. I'm hungrier than ever. Steve Claggett, I'm gonna fuck you up. To everybody, I'm gonna mess you up. With my faith, with my strength, with all my hope, and with all my love, I will create everything from above. For man is I, and for I shall feast. I ain't scared, never was, never will be. Let me ride, let me hold, let me conquer, let me quest. Become everything, forget everybody. I am everything, I am everybody. That's the mentality. Hold on to it. Who the fuck you think you are? You ain't me, and I ain't you. And that's why me becomes greater every night. You drink your worries away. You worry too much. Me, I am too much. Ha!
Now, my thoughts, I don't have too many thoughts regarding it. It was a bit weird, if I'm being honest. Like, Teofimo, a lot of times it seems like he wants to sound scientific and he's just saying a lot of words, but you can't really directly understand what he's even referring to. Like, he's like, I am this and I am everything and everything is everything and I am life. It's like he's purposefully trying to be almost like a prophet. So he's just saying a bunch of just randomness, to be honest. I outwork you and the work is not hard because all the work is being done and the hard work is not done when it's easy. Like, it's like, what are you talking? He's like talking like the Riddler or something, You guys let me know in the comment section what you think of that. But, I get it. He's a fighter. He's trying to hype himself up. But I will say it does seem like a bit extra given the opponent. Your opponent has 7 losses and you're doing all this like, I'm gonna beat the F out of you. I don't even know if that's needed based on who your opponent is. Like, you're not fighting somebody who is at least perceived as a top threat. However, sidebar, I know a lot of people in this game of boxing, and some people reached out and hit me up and said Steve Claggett is actually a pretty good fighter. And he's one of those fighters where his record is deceiving. The Darnell Boones, the guys like Gabe Rosado. There's a lot of guys that are good fighters, but then you look at their resume and you see double-digit losses or a bunch of losses, and you're like, oh, this person's not that good. From my understanding of what I was told, Steve Claggett's actually pretty dope. He's pretty good. Me, I have to do my own personal research. I'm just telling you from reliable source what was passed off to me. So if anyone has any experience on Steve Claggett, is he better than his record will suggest with the 7 losses? Is this going to be a problematic fight for Teo? Now, this is the thing that's very challenging with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is one of the fighters, and we see this, like, I would even put Dimitri Bivol in this category, where you have a really good fighter, but given the competition, it almost influences the fighter's performance. Like they fight down to the competition. So let me give you guys some examples. Like let's say Dimitri Bivol, if you put him in there with Canelo, then you get a certified Dimitri Bivol, and you can see why, you know, he's on the pound for pound list. You can see why people are saying he's a good fighter, etc. But then you look at Dimitri Bivol after that, when he's not fighting the bigger names like Canelo or even Gilberto Zordo Ramirez, and then when he's fighting much lesser known guys than Zordo and Canelo, he's fighting guys like Lyndon Arthur and his last guy he just fought. And I don't think he's looking as sensational, you know, throughout the entirety. I understand he got a stoppage in his very last fight, but I'm not going to overpraise that. That was a late replacement because Beterbiev was unable to fight on that given date. Teofimo is one of those people for me as well, where Teofimo's performance is largely in part based on who he's fighting. Like the bigger the perceived threat, then Teofimo typically steps it up. Like when Teo fought Lomachenko, he looked like a sharp fighter and he beat Lomachenko. When he's fighting Josh Taylor, he rose to the occasion. But then you put him in with Kambosos and he underperforms, in my opinion. You put him in there with Pedro Campa and Jermaine Ortiz, guys that on paper he was favored to beat, like by a landslide, and sometimes those fights are the most difficult. So those fighters, you have to watch fighters like that. You have to definitely watch the fighters that do that, because I prefer, me personally, a fighter who's just consistent. Whether the competition is a journeyman or a champion, they consistently give you a performance. Like, let's say David Benavidez. If David Benavidez is fighting the better names, Caleb Plant or Demetrius Andrade, or if he's fighting that Angulo dude, or if he fights somebody like, you know, Ronald Ellis, somebody you don't think that's going to beat him, he still shows up as David Benavidez. Like when David Benavidez fought Porky Medina, it's still the same Benavidez. And the guys that really aren't supposed to be in the ring with David Benavidez, he shows crazy separation. That's Teofimo and other fighters like Bivol. Sometimes that's their kryptonite, showing separation when the competition is thought to not be on their level, right? Like you put Teofimo with Jermaine Ortiz. I thought Jermaine Ortiz won the fight. You put Teofimo in there with Sandor Martin. On paper, most people thought that Teo would just blow through Sandor Martin, and he gets dropped multiple times. And I thought he lost to Sandor Martin. You see what I'm saying? And then now he's trying to hype himself up with this Steve Claggett dude. And, you know, we'll see. From what I heard, the Claggett dude is better than his record suggests. So we'll see what's in store. But I thought it was a bit weird for Teofimo to be running and try to hype himself up for a fight like this. But it is what it is.